First things first, I'ma say all the words inside my head. I'm fired up and tired of the way that things have been. Oh, the way that things have been. Oh, second thing second, don't you tell me what you think that I can be. I'm the one at the sail, I'm the master of my sea. Oh, the master of my sea. Oh, from a young age, taking my soaking to the masses, writing my poems with a few that looked at me, took to me, shook with me, feeling me, singing from heartache, from the pain, taking my message from the veins, singing my lesson from the brain, seeing the beauty through the pain. Maybe I'm a believer. Pain, you break me down, you build me up, believer. In the crowd, living my brain up in the cloud, falling like ashes to the ground, hoping my feelings, they would drown. They never did, ever lived, ebbing and flowing, inhibited, limited, till it broke open and rained down. It rained down like pain. Maybe I'm a believer. Pain, you break me down, you build me up, believer.
Friends, good afternoon. Welcome to the Tufts University 154th Baccalaureate service. The service is about to begin. We invite you to please rise in body or in spirit as we welcome our graduating seniors and the baccalaureate procession. Friends, the class of 2017. And now please remain standing and turn to welcome the platform party. members of the Tufts faculty and administration, deans, the senior baccalaureate leaders, and Wendell Phillips speaker, the university chaplains, our provost, David R. Harris, and our president, Anthony P. Monaco.
Welcome and please be seated. A goodly word is as a goodly tree, whose root is firmly fixed and whose branches reach to the sky. These words from the Quran remind us of the importance of good words, words of truth, words of compassion, words of peace, words of justice. Such goodly words are as beautiful, as strong, and as uplifting as a tree, rooted deeply and also reaching up, ever growing to new heights. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Baccalaureate service of the class of 2017. I'm Greg McGonigal, the University Chaplain, and it's an honor to welcome you to this first of the two main ceremonies of commencement weekend, the other being the commencement exercises tomorrow morning on the Green. Whereas tomorrow's ceremony is for all those graduating from Tufts this year, today's ceremony is only for the undergraduate class of 2017, and for your families and friends and all of us who are here to cheer you on. We say this is the last time for you to be alone together as a class, and we do so in the context of an inspirational and cultural ceremony, remembering Tufts' foundational values of the search for truth that acknowledges wisdom from many cultures and the goals of world peace and social justice. It is a time for sharing goodly words and goodly thoughts, words that ground us and that stretch us. The values suggested on the seal of Tufts University of searching for truth, inspiration, and peace are represented on the banners that decorate the baccalaureate stage, which are the creations of alumna and Jewish artist Nancy Katz. The tree is the olive tree, a symbol of the earth, our home, and of our hope to live together in peace. Among the trees are doves, which is a symbol of the spirit and of inspiration. And across the base of the banners are the symbols of many religious, philosophical, and cultural traditions that we honor among the Tufts family. Through these traditions, truths come to us in many ways, including through the books that we see represented on the Tufts seal. Whether we are religious or non-religious, we can affirm that part of being an educated person today means engaging with and developing our deepest convictions and values, and learning about and appreciating those of others. We can also affirm that information and knowledge alone are not enough to guide our lives, but the insights of wisdom traditions, of the arts, of music and cultural traditions also form part of what we need to know that helps us apply our knowledge in ways consistent with our highest ideals. In the baccalaureate service, we honor these values by sharing music and words of wisdom as we reflect on the meaning of your undergraduate life at Tufts. To help us think about how these values apply to our lives, we will hear from a member of your class, our Wendell Phillips speaker, Isabella Kahhale. And we will hear a farewell address to you by our president, Anthony Monaco. We will also hear music and readings offered by your classmates. This is our time together on the eve of commencement to reflect on the incredible learning and accomplishments of this class, to give thanks for everyone and everything that has made this possible, and to think about what it means for the future of our world, a world that needs all of your learning, passion, courage, creativity, and engagement. We chaplains wanted to offer you an additional way to engage with Baccalaureate this year, and so we asked all of you seniors to tell us about the places that you have found meaning and community in your time at Tufts. Some of you said that you found meaning in the dictionary. Very funny, class of 2017. You also shared many other places where you have found meaning and community here. And so as our graduation gift to you, the University Chaplaincy designed these word clouds into magnets. We hope that you will take them as our gift to you and as a reminder of the ways that you have found connection here. You will notice that there are blank spaces around the edges as well. As you go forth from Tufts tomorrow, you will be finding new places and new communities to engage and find meaning, and your networks will grow larger. But we give you these magnets as a reminder of this part of your journey that we hope will continue to sustain you and be a resource for you after graduation. You've already found important wisdom, community, and connections here, and we know that you will continue to do so as you leave Tufts. And now, my friends, as we enter into the Baccalaureate service, it is our tradition to begin by affirming the connections we have with one another in the Tufts community by greeting those around us with signs of peace, a wave, a handshake, a hug, a high five. And so at this time, I invite you to please stand, families as well as graduates, and turn to those around you and offer greetings and signs of peace to each other. Peace be with you.
Please rise and join with me in singing our opening song, Morning Has Broken. Morning has broken like the first morning. Blackbird has spoken like the first bird. Praise for the singing, praise for the morning, praise for them springing fresh from the word. Sweet the rain's new fall, sunlit from heaven, like the first dew fall on the first grass. Praise for the sweetness of the wet garden, sprung in completeness where God's feet pass. Mine is the sunlight, mine is the morning, born of the one light Eden saw play. Praise with elation, praise every morning, God's recreation of the new day.
Please be seated. So this is a time for contemplation. And I want to tell you a story. It's a story of one of my heroes, Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel, one of the most important activists and philosophers of the 20th century. So 10 days before he died in 1972, Rabbi Heschel was taping a television show for NBC. And at the end of the program, with about a minute left in the broadcast, the interviewer asked Heschel if he had a special message, something really important to tell young people. Remember, it was 1972. It was a pretty intense time. The meaning of life in 1 minute. Heschel thought for a moment, and this is how he replied. He said, above all, remember that the meaning of life is to live your life as if it were a work of art. Live your life as if it were a work of art. So I've been trying to figure out exactly what Heschel meant by live your life as if it were a work of art. And often, when I want to come to a deeper understanding of something, I just start wandering around campus and asking people, students, faculty, staff, for their opinions and interpretations. So I just started wandering around and asking people, what does it mean to you to live your life as if it were a work of art? I have a great job. So a senior thought for a moment and said that each work of art, real art, is unique, expressing a singular vision of the artist. So, she continued, I think what it means is that we should make sure that we live the unique life that each one of us is supposed to be living. A friend on the faculty told me, well, when you paint a painting, you're always painting over the mistakes you made, correcting them, fixing things that don't look or feel right. So great art, like a real life, is built on a series of do-overs. A junior started to talk about the act of painting and how when you paint, you have to zoom in and focus your attention on the small details, and then you need to step back and get some distance in order for the larger perspectives on the work you're creating to become clear. He said, it's about the balance of focusing on the thing right in front of you, but never forgetting that you have to step back and see the big picture. You complete your time at Tufts, and your journey continues. This time has been rich in experience, study, and growth. Now going forward, what would it mean for you to live your life as if it were a work of art?
The Wendell Phillips Memorial Scholarship is one of 2 prize scholarships, the other being assigned to Harvard University, which were established in 1896 by Wendell Phillips Memorial Fund in honor of Boston's great abolitionist orator. The award is given annually to a junior or senior who has demonstrated both a noteworthy ability as a speaker and a high sense of public responsibility. Wendell Phillips was a powerful and eloquent orator, considered the foremost orator of the abolitionist movement. Throughout his life, he also organized for repeal of federal policy towards Native Americans, working for women's rights, universal suffrage, and the labor movement. He devoted his life to changing hearts and dismantling systems of injustice. This year, the recipient of the Wendell Phillips Prize is a senior whose service to the university has truly been exemplary. Isabella Kahhale is a Lebanese-American student from Newton, Massachusetts. She's a cognitive brain and science major with a minor in English and a philosophy certificate in ethics, law, and society. During her 4 years, Isabella has served on both the Tufts Community Union Senate and Judiciary. She is a self-identified nerd, as also confirmed by her friends, and a disciplined athlete whose workouts few of us would want to tackle. She has been an ardent advocate for access to mental health services and has worked closely with her professors, asking questions about how the body, brain, and spirit process trauma. Isabella is a gifted young scientist who will soon be heading to Stanford University to work as a neuroscience research assistant on a project investigating empathy. And this is fitting, because what I hear over and over is just how much attention Isabella pays to the people around her, her dear friends and strangers alike. She is authentically herself in every moment, warm, welcoming, funny, honestly curious. And this way of being in the world is infectious. In a time of distraction and information overload, Isabella has distinguished herself as a young person who sinks into the present moment, meaningfully just being with people. She does not seek to solve others' problems or suggest she has the answers. Rather, it has been her practice here at Tufts to walk side by side her friends and classmates. Isabella has been dedicated to building bridges. She is driven to explore how increase in empathy could affect our world in deep, profound ways. This young woman is passionate about getting to the root of how we can be a more just, compassionate society, listening to and learning from one another. Ultimately, she is concerned with shaking off our insular habit of shutting one another down, ignoring the nuance, and dismissing the validity of others who are different from us. In this way, she is very much like Wendell Phillips himself. My friends, please join me in this great privilege of welcoming the 2017 Wendell Phillips speaker, Isabella Kahhale.
Thank you, Lynn, for that amazing introduction. I thought I was the one that was supposed to be making you guys cry, but it had the reverse effect. I apologize in advance for my potentially raspy voice. I'm sure everyone up here can acknowledge that this was a very long week. Good afternoon to professors and staff leaders, parents, members of the Tufts community, and my fellow graduating seniors. I'm incredibly honored to be addressing you all on the last day of our undergraduate career. I'd like to start by reciting the Serenity Prayer, as I have several times to myself over these past 4 years. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. We ask for serenity, courage, and wisdom always, but especially in moments like this, moments of great personal change. We are poised to move on after spending 4 years here. 4 years, that's 20% of our lives. For 4 years, we've been failing to schedule coffee with the same people, ignoring the same course evaluation emails, and trying to sled down the same Preslon, hoping this time the hill will be steep enough. This has become our home. A home that feels comfortable and familiar when we step back onto campus after a weekend away. But this familiarity comes at a price. When we are surrounded by people who think like us and who believe what we believe, we create a circle of affirmation with little room for outside opinions. This is our opaque bubble. We grow distant from the voices beyond our campus walls, but we also become resistant to opinions within our community. At a school where involvement in student groups is so important to us, we opt into circles that share our interests and our attitudes. If you're in Tufts Democrats, you're probably not going to go to the Tufts Republicans meeting. There's not much membership overlap between Students for Justice in Palestine and Tufts Hillel. The members of Tufts Cheese Club aren't catering to the interests of the lactose intolerant. The same self-selection occurs in the online realm, which has begun to account for more and more of our social lives. Last February, Twitter stopped showing us tweets in chronological order in favor of presenting updates from users that we interact with the most. A few months later, Instagram did the same thing and started displaying content based on our relationships with the poster. And Facebook, the king of curated content, uses hundreds of variables to make sure that what we see is what we want to see. They focus on our likes, our past comments, and our tagged friends to filter out posts. And that's just stuff that Facebook does without us. The user can also choose to filter out information. So we're choosing to do this here. Whether we realize it or not, the information that we're seeing is what's relevant to us. Now the issue is, the word relevant has become synonymous with like-minded. We allow the filters to homogenize our circles of discussion so that we can avoid the discomfort of interacting with dissonant opinions. This happens to all of us. I recently did something on Facebook that I'm not proud of. I unfriended someone over a status they posted. It was a person I hardly knew, and it was so easy to remove him from my online social circle, but I intentionally excluded a certain perspective that I'm not typically offered just because it hurt my feelings. The post was an anti-immigrant statement. I am the proud daughter of two incredibly hardworking Lebanese immigrants who made an infinite number of sacrifices for my siblings and for me. In return, they've asked only that we be committed to our own education and embrace these opportunities that were not easily afforded to them. I thought I was defending my parents' values, but by shutting out an opposing view, I was really contradicting their emphasis on using every situation as a chance to learn. If I had shown my mother the post, she probably would have said, "Why are you Facebook friends with someone you don't know anyways?" And then she'd probably ask me if I'm eating enough at school. So you might be wondering, what did that post even say? Let's pretend for a second that this person posted a public status that said, "Isabella Kahhale," and they called me Isabel instead of Isabella, just to really add insult to injury. "Isabella Kahhale, the hummus that your mom makes isn't even good." A few people in this world might share that opinion. Try it first and then let me know, but I doubt it. But that doesn't matter. Whether it's a personal attack or a generalized statement that I take offense to, I think it's my duty as an educated individual to try and grapple with opinions that contradict my own. This Facebook incident was not my first misstep, but rather one of the first times I recognized my resistance to learning the position of someone else. I started to notice how I'd behaved similarly before. I've intentionally avoided conversations with people who disagreed with me. I've skipped over news headlines because I assumed I knew what the articles had to say. I've avoided talks or events because the speaker took a stand opposite to my own. Once I challenged myself to start identifying my own biases, I noticed them in other people too. Now, more than ever, and here especially, birds of a feather flock together. So I didn't refriend the guy, mainly because I decided to take my mom's advice to not be friends with random people. I know it's unrealistic to say that I'll always embrace opinions that I disagree with, but throughout my time at Tufts, I've learned the importance of hearing opposing views, to admit when I'm being one-sided, and to expand my perspective. The times I've done it, I've found it incredibly rewarding to put myself in other people's shoes, even though I wear a size 11 women's, so that's pretty tough. We've seen what happens when we don't do this on our campus. Discussions over Greek life and divestment from certain companies quickly disintegrate into standoffs where both parties are not even willing to meet in person. I propose an alternate approach. One where we have civil debates that are based on respecting another person's point of view. Failing to do this contradicts the very reason why we've spent the last 4 years here in the first place, to learn. In our new political climate, a willingness to listen to other viewpoints is more crucial now than it has ever been before. Even when the Tufts bubble bursts, we can still easily surround ourselves with homogenous opinions, and social media will gladly help us do that. It's a platform that has been instrumental in improving countless lives around the world, but I worry that it will continue to prevent us from scrutinizing our own beliefs by allowing us to shut out the other side. To create effective change in our world, we need to build bridges, not barriers. I wear this Shakespeare quote on a ring every day, and it says, "We know what we are, but know not what we may be." We're graduating with more knowledge, more experience, and hopefully more resume bullet points than we had 4 years ago. But that doesn't mean our education should end. That doesn't mean we should stop challenging ourselves to continuously learn from new experiences, new people, and new perspectives. So here is my charge for each one of us. Let us seek out the provocative tidbits that do swim through our social filters. Let us tussle with them instead of rejecting them. Let us ask uncomfortable questions and be ready for uncomfortable answers. Let us not harbor hate for opposing ideas, and more importantly, let us not harbor hate for the people who hold them. We can achieve so much more by listening to other people than we can by listening to our own voices. And at the end of the day, if we do all this, maybe we'll be able to separate those flocks of birds that fly together and get a few pelicans, some geese, and a swan or two to hug it out. Graduating seniors, together we faced countless campus controversies, lost years of life in Tisch, and survived a few of the worst snowstorms in Boston's history. At the same time, we've seen strangers transform into our best friends overnight, and a hilly campus that we once needed a map to navigate around has become our home. Thank you, class of 2017, for making it a home that I will miss. Congratulations to you all.
Thank you, Isabella. Inspiration on the Hill and in our world today offers wisdom to us in many ways. It might be through an act of goodwill or compassionate presence from someone we hold dear or a stranger, reminding us of our connectedness and unspoken bonds. It might be woven into the words and deeds of prophets who have come before us, challenging us to pursue justice, compassion, and love. For some, it comes through the glory of divinity and the legacies of our world's religious traditions and philosophies, enriching our ethical lives. And for some, it might be found in the majesty of our world in a vast starscape, yet still home to billions of unique stories, evoking feelings at once of insignificance and of unfathomable, profound meaning. The Baccalaureate service is a time to appreciate and reflect on all these in ourselves, however they make themselves known, and to celebrate inspirational wisdom that has given brightness and energy to our time together at Tufts. We will hear now a few lessons of inspiration from several of the religious and philosophical traditions held dear among members of the class of 2017. Some will be read or recited in the original languages used by those communities in their practice. For those, the translations are printed in your program. As we share in these lessons, consider what wisdom they may hold for you. Consider, too, the unique pieces of inspiration that challenge you, that enrich you, and that evoke contradictions within you, yet offer a light to guide your journey forward. Oftentimes, these lessons make themselves known in the most unexpected moments. Let us, in this moment, welcome them in.
Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Among the many things that religious tradition holds in store for us is a legacy of wonder. The surest way to suppress our ability to understand the meaning of God and the importance of worship is to take things for granted. Indifference to the sublime wonder of living is the root of sin. Wonder or radical amazement is the chief characteristic of the religious person's attitude toward history and nature. It is not the beginning of knowledge, but an act that goes beyond knowledge. It does not come to an end when knowledge is acquired. It is an attitude that never ceases. There is no answer in the world to radical amazement. Humankind will not perish for want of information, but only for want of appreciation. The beginning of our happiness lies in the understanding that life without wonder is not worth living. What we lack is not a will to believe, but a will to wonder.
Another morning, and I wake with thirst for the goodness I do not have. I walk out to the pond, and all the way God has given us such beautiful lessons. O Lord, I was never a quick scholar, but sulked and hunched over my books past the hour and the bell. Grant me, in your mercy, a little more time. Love for the earth and love for you are having such a long conversation in my heart. Who knows what will finally happen, or where I will be sent? Yet already, I have given a great many things away, expecting to be told to pack nothing, except the prayers which, with this thirst, I am slowly learning.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الرحمن علم القرآن خلق الإنسان علمه البيان الشمس والقمر بحسبان والنجم والشجر يسجدان والسماء رفعها ووضع الميزان ألا تطغوا في الميزان وأقيموا الوزن بالقسط ولا تخسروا الميزان والأرض وضعها للأنام فيها فاكهة النخل ذات الأكمام والحب ذو العصف والريحان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان.
When I heard the learned astronomer, when the proofs, the figures were ranged in columns before me, when I was shown the charts and diagrams to add, divide, and measure them, when I sitting heard the astronomer where he lectured with much applause in the lecture room, how soon, unaccountable, I became tired and sick, till rising and gliding out, I wandered off by myself in the mystical, moist night air, and from time to time looked up in perfect silence at the stars.
We invite you to rise in body or in spirit for the litany of thanksgiving and to join in the response, which is, we offer our thanks and praise. For the values that a university at its best imparts, love of learning and of truth, an understanding of the unity of human knowledge and of humankind, a sense of community self-respect, and respect for others, a commitment to rationality and sanity, and an appreciation of beauty.
We offer our thanks and praise.
For the conversations that helped us understand ourselves, that made us realize that we are not alone, that entertained and stimulated and upset us, conversations that broadened our vision and understanding. In classrooms and in dorm rooms, that forced us to mature and think and grow.
We offer our thanks and praise.
For the images and memories of this place that will flash in our minds for the rest of our lives, walking up the memorial steps, looking out from the library roof, staying up for yet another all-nighter.
We offer our thanks and praise. For the intellectual skills that a university hones and sharpens, the ability to think logically, to make sound judgments based on evidence, to solve problems by careful analysis and discussion leading to action, to develop abstract ideas and relate them to concrete reality, to communicate thoughts and feelings effectively through language and symbols, and to appreciate historical and cultural context.
We offer our thanks and praise.
For parties and gatherings, planned and spontaneous, that brought us together. For long talks in which our hearts opened up and understanding was born. For relationships with each other, ones that lasted long, and even the ones so important at the time, which are vivid no more, yet still remembered.
We offer our thanks and praise. For the willingness to doubt, which the university encourages and supports, to challenge the accepted wisdom in all fields, to examine and test whatever is encountered, to root out and question underlying assumptions, to move from conformity to creativity, to take intellectual risks.
We offer our thanks and praise.
For trips on planes, on buses and bikes, on foot or on the T, that took us away from here and then brought us back. For the new places that intrigued our curiosity, and for the familiar, usual places that made us comfortable. For new people, for the places we met and shared, for this place on this hill.
We offer our thanks and praise. For the laughter that makes our seriousness less difficult, and which gives friendship new levels of joy, and makes memories of friends so full of life, and for the jokes, good and bad, told once or repeated endlessly, which make life more whimsical and often uncover great wisdom.
We offer our thanks and praise.
For the times when children were generous by including families in their growth and adventures. For the times when families showed their wisdom by knowing the way to hold on to children is by letting them go. For the experiences that brought the hearts of children and families closer together in understanding and friendship.
We offer our thanks and praise. Amen.
It is my pleasure to introduce for you the president of Tufts University, Dr. Anthony P. Monaco. Dr. Monaco became the 13th president of Tufts University in 2011. An accomplished leader, scientist, and professor, Dr. Monaco brings to Tufts presidency deep-rooted commitments to academic excellence, to diversity, access and inclusion, and to the power of higher education to impact society and transform individuals. President Monaco is deeply committed to the well-being of the campus community and chairs university-wide efforts dedicated to advancing diversity and inclusion, preventing sexual misconduct, and supporting sustainability at Tufts. He and his administrative team have rigorously supported international and immigrant students in difficult times. Each of these efforts helps the Tufts community put its values and institutional commitments into practice. Under President Monaco's leadership, the university has enhanced Tufts' long-standing commitments to innovation, to collaboration, to civic life. President Monaco is also deeply committed to supporting student life, whether as a spectator at athletic events, a guest at religious holiday celebrations, or an attendee of the multiple religious and philosophical life at Tufts, or the students' artistic performances. He participates in training sessions with the members of the Tufts community preparing for the Boston Marathon, and can often be found swimming in Hamilton Pool or joining students for a meal in one of the dining halls. Many of you have probably received one of his infamous Facebook birthday messages. Before coming to Tufts, Dr. Monaco was a pro-vice chancellor for planning and resources at Oxford University from 2007 to 2011, where he developed and led strategic planning initiatives for academic programs, capital improvements, and budgeting and resource allocation. A distinguished geneticist, Dr. Monaco's doctoral research led to a landmark discovery in the genetics of muscular dystrophies. At Oxford, he led a team of scientists investigating the genetic underpinnings of such neurological disorders, such as autism, language impairments, and dyslexia. At Tufts, President Monaco holds faculty appointments as a professor of biology in the School of Arts and Sciences and as a professor of neuroscience at Tufts University School of Medicine. A native of Wilmington, Delaware, he received his undergraduate degree from Princeton University in 1981 and his MDiv and PhD at Harvard Medical School. Please join me in welcoming to the podium Tufts President, Dr. Anthony Monaco.
Thank you very much for that introduction. Family, friends, colleagues, and distinguished guests, welcome to this year's Baccalaureate service. Our most special guests today are the members of the class of 2017, so welcome, seniors. Graduation from Tufts is a milestone for all who are close to our students. A college career can bring with it unforeseen challenges as well as hoped-for triumphs. Those who love and care for our graduates have provided them with support and encouragement all along the way, rejoicing in good times and offering a steady hand when things got rough. As we begin, I would like to ask the graduates to stand and recognize the support, care, love, and sacrifice of the parents, grandparents, siblings, partners, children, and friends who have made this day possible. Seniors, please give them a hearty round of applause. All of you shared a portion of this journey and supported our graduates. We are grateful to you for entrusting these young people to be educated at Tufts and helping them thrive while we're here. I would also like to recognize the devotion and excellence of Tufts faculty, deans, coaches, and staff. In countless ways, visible and invisible, academic and personal, they have supported and guided our students. It is a privilege to share the stage with their representatives. I'm also grateful to the students who have enriched our campus and this day with the important messages of their faiths, traditions, and philosophical perspectives, and to the Reverend Greg McGonigal and his colleagues in the university chaplaincy for organizing this afternoon's celebration. Finally, thank you, Isabella, for that thoughtful Wendell Phillips address. You are an outstanding representative of the class of 2017, and your address was all that I could have expected from someone who exemplifies the very best of Tufts. To the members of the class of 2017, this baccalaureate service is the last time you will be alone together as a class. You were already accomplished when you arrived at Tufts. When you matriculated, the headline read, "Most selective, largest applicant pool, strongest academic profile of any undergraduate class in the university history." But those aren't the only quantities that count. As Lee Coffin, our former Dean of Admissions, said at your matriculation, quote, One of the things that doesn't get acknowledged as much when we report admission stats is the vibe of this institution. Their impulse towards citizenship, their sense of inclusiveness, their creativity, and their willingness to think outside the box are qualities that are very much evident in the incoming class. He was right. Over the past 4 years, you have gone on to excel in your chosen pursuits with passion and creativity. The outstanding students who received this year's academic awards, presidential awards for civic life, the Alumni Association Senior Awards reflected how exceptional your accomplishments have been. Your class includes the first students to graduate from the School of the Museum of Fine Arts since it became part of Tufts. In just this first year, the students and faculty of the SMFA are already having a tremendous positive impact as members of the Tufts community. I have watched you act in extraordinary plays and sing, dance, and perform with passion and brilliance. You have participated in national arts competitions ranging from dance to slam poetry. You even won the United States University's debate championship for the first time in Tufts history. During your 4 years here, the university's athletic teams have won many NESCAC championships and participated in multiple NCAA championships, winning an impressive number of them. Earlier this week, we were able to hold a mini commencement ceremony for the seniors on our baseball team who were competing this weekend. During your time on the Hill, our campus has changed. We've welcomed our new jumbo, opened state-of-the-art facilities in the Collaborative Learning and Innovation Complex, and honored our very own trailblazer, Bernie Harleston, with the dedication of Harleston Hall. But perhaps the most remarkable physical transformation on our campus occurred during your second year, when you survived the record-breaking winter of 2014-15. Fortunately, the snow piles were not permanent, though they may have felt like it at the time. You have not just been onlookers, far from it. You have worked for social justice and against racism, fought for LGBT rights and to prevent sexual misconduct on campus, supported undocumented and international students, and requested changes in university policy. You have been tireless advocates on campus, in our local communities, and around the world. Tomorrow, you will join the over 100,000 members of our alumni community representing Tufts across the globe. I hope that you will cherish the friendships you have made here, keep in touch with your advisors and mentors, and stay connected with the university. I know that your careers and accomplishments throughout your lifetime will give us cause for pride. You leave Tufts to enter a world that is evolving every day. Success and satisfaction in a changing environment call for flexibility. I hope you will look forward to the future with an open mind and embrace it with the same enthusiasm and passion that brought with you to this campus. This is not just a question of adapting to circumstances. You can never know when an experience or interaction will unlock new opportunities by encouraging you to move in an unanticipated direction. Those of you who attended this year's senior dinners have heard me talk about how this happened in my own life, when hearing a talk by a young faculty member encouraged me quite unexpectedly to switch my graduate path from neuroscience to molecular genetics. It was a huge risk for me personally, but it turned out to be absolutely the right decision. The work led to the discovery of the first gene for a human inherited disorder based solely on a genetic approach. And last fall, some 30 years later, after I started that research, the FDA approved a new therapeutic treatment based on what we had learned. It is the first drug to ever treat Duchenne muscular dystrophy. I had followed my gut instinct about accepting a challenge, and taking that leap had an impact I could not have imagined. During your time at Tufts, you have gained compelling long-term skills. Skills such as critical thinking, complex problem solving, written and verbal communication, and habits of mind that enable the questioning of established thought and social assumptions. These are skills that will stand the test of time and serve you and society well both today and tomorrow. And they are the same skills that employers currently say they prize most highly in employees. During your time on the Hill, you have acquired these invaluable skills through transformative learning experiences ranging from rigorous coursework, study abroad, and independent research to energetic participation in athletics, leadership in campus activities, and service in the community. All of those experiences have strengthened your resilience, enhancing your ability to be flexible and succeed in a changing environment. These are skills that will help you navigate transitions present and into the future. Looking ahead, we also need educated individuals who are willing to take on causes larger than their own self-interest. Active citizenship is critical to creating and maintaining an innovative workforce, a vibrant culture, and a robust civil society. In its most simple form, it means educating future leaders for positive change. As students, you have demonstrated a commitment to active citizenship through your advocacy and your service to organizations and communities close to our campus and around the world. You have proven that you're willing to take on causes selflessly. As graduates, many of you are drawn to mission-oriented roles that are vital to thriving communities and advancing society. No matter what career path you follow, I hope you will be an engaged member of your community beyond your time here. Before you arrived at Tufts, you read the book Whistling Vivaldi as part of our common reading program. In that book, Dr. Claude Steele, a renowned social psychologist, detailed his research on stereotypes and how they diminish our performance and limit our opportunities. At your matriculation, I urged you to challenge the stereotypes you may carry. College provides a unique opportunity to test your preconceived ideas about the world. It's also a time to challenge your notions of other people and yourself, to learn that what you observe by looking at peers is an imperfect indicator of their perspectives and experiences. As Dr. Steele put it in the commencement address to the class of 2013, quote, "When you feel under social threat, like the threat of judgment, try to avoid defensiveness, tempting as it is. Rather, lean in and let in. Try to let in what you don't know you don't know." I hope that this is what you have done at Tufts. I hope that you have engaged openly with others throughout your time here, and that you have embraced difficult conversations as opportunities for growth. And I hope that you will continue to do that as you leave this hill. Now, it is more important than ever to challenge stereotypes rather than reinforce them. In her Wendell Phillips speech, Isabella has reminded us how easy it can be for the best intentioned among us to become surrounded by circles of affirmation. She has challenged us to scrutinize our own beliefs, to allow the other side in, to empathize with opposing arguments, and to challenge our personal biases. It's no accident that our commencement speaker this year is Kenya Barris. Barris is the creator and executive producer of the hit ABC television series Blackish. His show is not just entertaining, it is intentionally socially aware, challenging stereotypes, tackling controversy, and addressing the complicated relationships within our society. I hope that you are looking forward to his address as much as I am. As Jumbos, it is in your DNA to break molds, lean in, and learn from one another and make change. We see the world facing great challenges and changes, from global warming and continued economic transformation to political instability and conflict in regions around the globe. Tufts is engaged in all of these areas, and many of you will be too as you begin your careers or continue your studies. The complex and intertwined challenges we face require solutions that go beyond individual areas of study, public policy, or industry. It will require excellence and depth in our disciplines, active listening, recognition of differences, and finding common goals if we are to work together to find innovative solutions to the big problems facing our society. In an increasingly polarized landscape, I urge you, as Isabella did, to take risks and cross the boundaries of discourse. Before Charles Tufts donated 28 acres of Walnut Hill for the founding of Tufts University in 1852, he was reportedly asked what he was going to do with the hill. He replied, "I will put a light on it." I hope that your experience at Tufts has indeed been a source of light. I believe we need that light now more than ever, given the complex challenges our world faces. And I challenge you, the class of 2017, to make that light shine even brighter in the 21st century. Congratulations, Tufts class of 2017. Thank you.
Thank you, President Monaco. Please rise and join with me in singing our closing song, Guide My Feet.
One more rousing round of applause for this absolutely great band and for our soloists. So now, the benediction, the words of blessing, of sending out is the following challenge. Leave this place with excitement. Leave this place with gladness. Leave this place with joy. Leave this place knowing who you are and whose you are. Leave this place meditating on the experiences that were and never will be again. Leave this place celebrating the obvious existence of your unwavering persistence. Leave this place remembering the fact that you are unstoppable. And let me tell you how I know this to be true. Finals couldn't stop you. All-nighters couldn't stop you. Difficult to get along with people on group projects didn't stop you. Those 15 to 20 page papers didn't stop you. And let's be real, those parties couldn't stop you either. Every obstacle you overcame, every test you triumphed, every mountain you climbed. You did it! You did the thing. This was not just a coincidence. No, this was not a matter of sheer luck, and this was not an accident. You are here in this space, in this time, because you put in the work. You put in the time, you put in the energy, and you made it your life's ambition to be right where you are. But just before you cross the street into the avenues of your future, leaving Professor's Row for professional roads, keep in mind to always look left and look right. Notice the classmates who have journeyed with you and made this adventure worth it. But most of all, take stock of the family and friends who made the many sacrifices and put their schedules on pause just so you can be in this very position. You are here, but your work is out there. So remember, this is a challenge. And so I say to you again, leave this place with excitement. Leave it with gladness, with joy, knowing who you are and whose you are. Leave this place meditating on the experiences that will never be again, celebrating the obvious existence of your persistence and that you are unstoppable. Challenge accepted? Challenge accepted. That's the part when we say yes. Challenge accepted. So I tell you this, therefore, in the name of all things bright and beautiful, all creatures great and small, in the name of the saints and the sages and the prophets who have demonstrated justice to us, and in the name of the very ground of our being, may the faculty and staff, the chaplains, friends and family, and the mighty class of 2017, may you say amen. Amen.